Hey everyone, how you doing? This was over the weekend. Me and my friends decided to meet up with our very average German cars and take a drive up the truck route, it's called. And we were going to do that, but basically the Ferrari club every year has a hill climb on that road, and well, it was this year. So instead of doing some cool driving, we got to watch some other people do some cool driving, but got to see some neat cars and things like that. So it all worked out. But anyway, later in this video, I'm just going to tell you how my new car drives compared to like my Aston and other things, and then show you some footage. So I had mentioned before that one of my biggest issues with the car was the valve programming. Next week, I'm actually taking the car in to have some over-axle pipes installed, which remove the particulate filters. And in addition to that, I got the car graphic valve controller, which basically allows you to control the valves either open or closed via remote control. So I won't have the issue of the car sounding kind of hollow and quiet, basically when I'm always driving it. I mean, the car is essentially, almost always in between the, 2,000 to 5,000 rev range, unless I'm really planning on hauling ass. And then, you wind it out to 8,000 and it's pretty great, but even still, it's still a little bit quiet. So definitely looking forward to doing a before and after comparison on how that sounds. I'm gonna do like a decibel test, see how much it actually opens up the exhaust, but that I think will make a big difference in just how the feel of the car is, because it's just very clinical. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just very surgical, very clinical, very smooth, very composed, and I kind of like my cars a little rowdier than that. One thing I'm hoping to address will be the drone that you get from like a little over 2,000 RPMs. Essentially, it's, when you're cruising in sixth gear at about 73 miles an hour or so, it just drones really horribly. So hopefully I'll be able to remove the sound composer as well as do all the other modifications, and hopefully that'll help with the drone. We'll see. As far as how the car handles itself, it's brilliant. I mean, it's very, very different from my Aston, which would feel extremely heavy. The Aston had hydraulic steering and a manual gearbox, but the steering itself was quite heavy for a modern vehicle. This is very light, extremely accurate, but you can feel everything that's going on underneath you. And if you haven't had a mid-rear engine vehicle before, I mean, this is technically my second one. My electric car actually is mid-rear engine, but it actually is a very similar feeling. So like the front can get, so if you're turning super hard and you're gassing it, the front can feel floaty because you're obviously planting the rear wheel down when you're accelerating, and then you just kind of get that little bit of burning spin out action, and you just kind of whip it around. Oh man, it's so much fun. And you can do it in like second gear, just going onto an on-ramp or something like that. Even with the traction control on, I mean, this thing, you can definitely whip it around like it's nothing. And it feels definitely a lot more like a go-kart than my prior vehicle, which was definitely like you had to be very smooth, very deliberate in your steering actions in order to get the most out of it. This is like, okay, this is a race car, and you can do jerky movements, and it'll respond super quickly, and it's just a lot of fun. I can't wait to really start taking it, doing it some autocrosses, maybe some high performance driver events. I know they do some of those in the area. I'm probably going to have to wait till next summer because it's obviously very late in the season right now, but even just cruising up a road like this that you see in the video, with the other guys, it's a ton of fun, and I really have no issue kind of keeping up with the GT3 RS though, man. That thing's a beast. You saw the picnic table size wing in that thing. I mean, it's a whole nother level. And I just want to go on to say how comfortable this car is to drive. It is really something else. And yeah, of course, there's occasions where I'm like, man, I really wish I got the carbon buckets, but these 18 ways really hold you in well. And I'm telling you, we went on a short, 45-minute drive the other day, and my wife was like, man, I could have fallen asleep in these seats. It's so comfortable. And I just feel the same way about, my personal driving position. I'm 6'6" with long legs, and it's great. I love it. So, am I sad I got rid of the Aston? Of course. Those are great cars, and I'm telling you, amazing bargains to be had with those cars. But this is definitely a whole nother level of performance, and the thing I like the most about it is that it's not such a ridiculous level of performance like, a Turbo S with, 600 horsepower where I'm like, a few seconds from going to jail. I mean, you really got to wind it out like it's an old school. I had a 97 Acura Integra, and man, with the VTEC and all that, you really had to wind it out to the top of the rev range. This car is very similar, especially driving around at high altitude where you actually lose quite a bit of performance. I mean, I was kind of blown away by the difference between the performance at sea level versus, when I was crossing the Sonora Pass at 9,600 feet. Like, it's kind of crazy with a naturally aspirated engine how much performance you wind up losing. But yeah, I mean, it's not the kind of car that will blow you away with straight line performance, but winding it out to 8,000 RPMs is still super fun, and gets your heart going when you start redlining at first, second, and third in Mexico. Yeah, you definitely it gets the juices flowing, that's for sure. So driving around town, it's great for driving around town. The manual gearbox is really easy to use. You don't even need to push the gas in, and you can let go of the clutch in first and it'll automatically take off. Same with in reverse. The gear lever itself is a little strange. I feel like first gear needs to be not as up and far to the left as it is. And the hill hold can sometimes get a little bit weird, but basically you just have to let the clutch out and give it a little gas like you would, but it makes doing hills so much easier. Overall, I would probably prefer the shift feel of the Aston, but the convenience of this transmission just completely blows everything else out of the water. It just makes it so easy to do. Auto blip and like all the computer tech in there. I mean, it just, any idiot could drive one of these. I'm not even kidding. It's so easy. So what else is bugging me about the car? Not a whole heck of a lot, other than the stupid electronic parking brake, which I couldn't even tell you if pushing in locks it or pulling out locks it. I just don't even remember. It's like completely counterintuitive of how I think it should work. So anyway, that's definitely an annoyance, but I know that these electronic parking brakes have been around for a long time and they're not really going anywhere. But that's pretty much the only other thing that's annoyed me so far. And yeah, other than that, only thing I really have going on besides the installation of those pipes and the valve controller, the day after that I'm going to get a little bit of tint on the thing and some clear bra applied to the front, so I don't have to worry about rock chips, and don't have to stay 100 feet back from everybody all the time anymore. I mean, that's kind of how I drive anyway, but yeah, so anyway, let's take a look here at some footage from the hill climb that we went to, and yeah, got any questions, obviously leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer anything you throw at me. So walking out to the starting line of the hill climb, just your average everyday Ferrari 812 just sitting on the side of the road in the gravel. And here we see a McLaren Senna GT4 that I really wish was starting when we got there, but apparently it's just baking in the sun here in the gravel just off the side of the finish line. Crazy car. I mean, there's so many weird aero bits on this thing. It's just absolutely mental. About a $2 million car, I think, and this one's pretty sweet. A gated 550 Maranello. And here we have a McLaren 720S in beautiful papaya spark, I was told. So gorgeous metal flake in this crazy orange mango paint. And anyway, beautiful car. Let's listen to it rip here in a second. So this guy here is a Portofino. Not the most impressive car in person. Lots of plastic. So here's probably my favorite car. 458 Italia Spider in a beautiful metallic flake black paint. Oh man, this thing was awesome. Total dream car. I do apologize for the poor sound quality and video quality. Incredibly windy up there that day, but anyway, let's hear a rip. I don't want to hear it. I just want to say major props to this guy for driving not only an extremely valuable but a classic Ferrari 330 GTC in a race like this that is really dangerous. I mean, there are no guardrails on a lot of sections here, so if you blow a tire, steering wheel stops working, whatever, I mean, you're freaking dead, and that's just awesome. So major props to this guy, and thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that dumb crap, and I'll see you guys later.